I'm Dalton Johnson, producer for 10 Minute Talks, and I just wanted to hop on here and say thank you so much for your support throughout the year. To end it, Diego and I decided to highlight some of the best moments from our top episodes of 2023. We hope you enjoy the episode and happy holidays.
James, I'm going to start with you. You've been pretty out front with your thinking and thought leadership on this topic. What happened yesterday? Were you surprised? How have you been preparing for this, and what do you think comes next?
So there's a lot of questions. First of all, thank you. Secondly, no, I'm not surprised. Everybody who's been following this has seen some of the testimony. Certainly there was some stuff shown that wasn't exactly great. Look, this is a jury. They're going to decide, they're looking at it like we're the man and, the little guy's getting harmed. And so some of this doesn't surprise me. I've had people comment like none of these people have sold a house. Well, yes, that's correct. Can't have bias on the jury. So there's a lot of things that would have shown that this would have gone this way. The most important thing that happened yesterday is not the verdict. It's the fact that the plaintiff's lawyers filed a second claim 30 minutes later and named all the other major brokerages in the US, which is what I said would happen. Copycat lawsuits are going to ensue, which they're now beginning, and they're going to name everybody else. So why I am very boldly saying this will settle is because when these lawyers start suing everybody else, believe me, NAR's phones are ringing off the hook saying, settle this stuff, because we can't deal with litigation in a down real estate market for the next 3 years. And, I'm in the brokerage space. I can tell you these conversations are already happening.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with your recruitment strategy over the past 6 to 9 months. It seems like every other day you're announcing "Here we grow" on LinkedIn. It's a great trademark post. What do you think is attracting top branch managers and LOs to the Princeton Mortgage platform?
Yeah, it's a simple answer and really hard to execute. So we start with healthy things grow. Healthy things grow. And so we see that in all of nature, the universe, healthy things grow. So Princeton grew in 22, we're growing in 23, and our best years are ahead. So we think that like attracts like. We are attracting originators and branches who share this drive. We've not peaked. Every day we wake up and think about two things. How do we create more value for our realtor partners? And how do we create more value for originators at a lower cost? So it starts with also thinking about what is an originator or branch manager. A $30 million loan originator produces something like $1 million a year in revenue. Less than 91% of all businesses in America produce $1 million a year in revenues. So when we talk about top branch managers and LOs, we're not talking about just salespeople. We're talking about successful small businesses and how we bring more value to them relative to the cost. And so that focus is how you gain market share. And then how you do that is doing 15 things a little bit better than your competition that when you add it up, it makes a difference.
My sense from following your content on social and also from my personal interaction with you at different events is that there's a little bit of a friendly competition that's happening amongst the leaders at UMortgage. How do you create that culture of like friendly competition as opposed to like sharp elbows competition?
Yeah, I think the big thing is, competition. It starts with like visibility. So we have internally, everything's a scoreboard, everything's a dashboard. So like our leaders, our corporate leaders that are not in sales, they're competing. They're competing on deliverables and projects that are getting the sign off to be the priority for the quarter. They're getting, they're selling, what special value add that they want to add and competing against each other to present it to leadership and our sales leadership for sign off. Our salespeople are competing for growth, and that's kind of hard to imagine. It's like a year ago, a lot of our groups were sheltering down. Right now, they're competing to recruit. They're competing on how many funded loans per LO. They're competing on how many new partners they can get weekly and quarterly. So you got to create that competition. You got to create that visibility, and I'm kind of a master coach too. Like, I'm the guy that, in the dashboard, when I see the updated scoreboard for the week, I call the guy who was number one last week and I say, hey man, like, a lot of the guys are talking. Is everything okay at home? Just want to see, are you going to rebound from this? You got to needle people and get them, woken up. This is an industry where people make a lot of money. So like, it's easy to not focus on growing and being great every week. And I'm very grateful that we've created that environment. I've also really emphasized with our people, and this is a big one, is we've got 150 corporate team members. We don't ever want to have to lay off anybody. We want to focus on growing. And I help everybody understand they have an obligation. Like that extra loan per month pays a salary. And if we don't bring in that extra loan, then we have to shrink. I really do make sure we share that responsibility. It's easy to be like the chips are down and we're gonna shrink. When people start to realize how it impacts families and all those things, then they start to say, okay, I am going to work a little bit extra. It's not just about me. It's about the greater good of the team.
So we have an ongoing battle between our editor-in-chief, Sarah Wheeler, and our lead analyst, Logan Motashami. Sarah's in the camp that there's a mortgage rate lockdown. Logan doesn't really believe in the mortgage rate lockdown. Where do you fall in this debate?
Well, I'm a big fan of both Sarah and Logan's, but what we're seeing in the data is, tenure length in the United States has hit a historic high of over 10 years. And that's a result of several factors, one of which we do believe is the rate lock-in effect and has been exacerbated by the recent increase in mortgage rates. But there's other factors. There's a longer run factors of seniors aging in place, for example. And then, of course, the rate lock-in effect is a function of the fact that a lot of homeowners, more than 90% of homeowners, are locked into rates below 6%. And then, of course, there's something that we like to call the homeowner's prisoner's dilemma, which is an economic concept, a game theory concept. It's a situation in which individuals don't cooperate, even though it seems in their best interest to do so. So if all sellers today chose to sell their homes, they would benefit as buyers because they would increase the inventory of homes available for sale and alleviate the supply shortage. But the risk of selling when others aren't in a market with a shortage of inventory is keeping existing homeowners from selling altogether. So there's all these dynamics at play, but I do believe that the rate lock-in effect is exacerbating the housing supply shortage.
And the tech ecosystem in some areas is fragmented, and in some areas it's not so fragmented. So when you think about LOSs and POSs and even CRMs, there are some dominant players. How are you plugging in to those different parts of the ecosystem where there might be a more dominant player?
We do what our customers tell us to do ultimately. So if they tell us, hey, we need to go get this integration done with XYZ marketing solution or CRM or point of sale or LOS, that's what we're going to do, no matter what. So, and we've got the team in both size and expertise to be able to do that and do it quickly. And we'll continue to do it. And so we just want to be a partner to everyone throughout the entire industry. Again, it just always goes back to we're told what to do and we're going to go do it.
I've heard this expression, survive until 25, which I actually don't really like because it sort of ignores the important growth and market share that we can take in 24. So what is your 24 strategy beyond survive until 25?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, we've right-sized the cost structure. We want to be profitable in every part of the mortgage business. And I think we've done the heavy lifting as it relates to that. And we want to make sure that we're just providing our customers with the best experience possible and making it as easy as possible for them to do business. So I don't like the impression or the saying either, survive until 25. We've been in the mortgage industry 35 years. Flagstar is not going anywhere. So we will be around in 24 and 25 and beyond. And we're here to serve our customers. I think you are going to see further consolidation and dislocation. And when those opportunities present themselves, and if it makes sense, then we'll look to take advantage of those opportunities.
I was looking at your LinkedIn profile before we spoke, and your cover image has "Say Yes Every Day" highlighted. What does "Say Yes Every Day" mean to you?
All right, so that all started in 2018. I was looking for additional ways to grow, and I was asked to speak at a particular conference. I said yes to going to the conference, and about 2 weeks before speaking, I got very nervous. And I reached out to the conference promoter and I said, I think I'm gonna have somebody else do it for me. And that person said no. Well, I got up on that stage, and afterwards I had a line of women waiting to speak to me. And those women said, Laura, thank you for being a woman executive up on a stage, because we don't get to see that every day. And that inspired us that maybe we can have that opportunity in the future. Well, I realized that if that person didn't tell me, no, you're going up there, I would have never had that experience and provided that to those women. So in that moment, I decided that I will not say no anymore.